Let's transform this 2008 BMW 3 Series with our 8.8-inch OEM screen upgrade, which is going to replace this old dated iDrive system with this brand new wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto with full touchscreen functionality, as well as allowing you to access apps like Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, anything you like, you can access it here. Now for this installation, the very first thing you guys would want to remove is this big trim around your AC ducts. This will allow for you to remove your climate control, which will allow access to remove your radio. So let's start with that. Pry it open on one side and then make your way across and then get this trim out. So you can kind of pry it a little bit. You can use your fingers if you like and if you're comfortable. If not, then you can use one of those plastic trim tools. Let me show you how you can do it. As with any other install, I'm going to go ahead and put some microfiber tape it with some non-residual tape. So it's not going to move out of place. That will allow for us to remove things without actually scratching any of the plastic down there. When you guys are removing the big AC trim, make sure to remove this start-stop button plug, followed by your hazards and your locking plugs. Once all of that has been removed, this big trim here will sit on the side, and we'll move on with removing the climate control, which is just held in by clips. Start by removing this using just clips. You can again use a trim tool if you're comfortable. So let me go ahead and remove that, and I'll show you what clips are holding it in so you can pry it from there. And behind your climate control, you'll find these two plugs that you have to go ahead and remove. Then we can start undoing the screws on the side, removing the trim around your radio, and then we can go ahead and remove the torque bits and then get the radio out. Undo all the connections from the radio, and I'll see you guys in the next clip to show you what to do next. Once you have the side cover out of your radio, you'll see there's only these two Phillip heads that's holding the radio in place. So go ahead and undo those two Phillip heads, and then the radio will just slide out, and then you can undo the connections behind the radio. Now behind the radio, in this case, there were only these four plugs: your display cable, quad lock, one of them is the GPS, and the other one probably is for radio. Once you've undone them, radio is sitting on the side. Now you have to take a note of where the fiber optics, this green cable, is sitting in the original quad lock harness. That's the same position. You're going to take it out and put it into the new harness. Alright, so now for the next part, we're going to remove this screen, which is held on by just these two Torx 10 up there. So once you have undone those two Torx 10, this will slide literally just out and towards you. Then you can undo the connections behind the screen, and then the screen can sit on the side, and then we'll move on to the next process. So this here is what you get in our kit. This is a Wi-Fi antenna, the main quad lock harness with the speaker, a new extended microphone, your GPS antenna, USB plugs, and the wiring for your extended microphone. The new 8.8-inch HD screen. Now to mount your GPS antenna, it's a good option for you to go ahead and remove your A-pillar. Now to remove this A-pillar, just pop out your airbag trim, and there's going to be just this one Torx 20 underneath. Get that out, and then the airbag can come out. That's the right way to mount the GPS module, far away from any other electronics. Flat surface is going to stick there, cause no problem. So you can go ahead and do that, and you can also snake your wire all the way to the screen, or if you like, you can go ahead and remove the glove box and then run your wire accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and put my GPS there, my microphone up there, route them together, make it all nice, tidy, neat. Make sure everything is taped up, and once all of that is done, I'll see you in the next clip. Now if you guys can see, there's no actual factory wiring loom that's running along the A-pillar, but instead of just leaving your mic wiring dangling, you can go ahead and use some of these 3M wire guiding tapes. They stick onto your car's body, and then they route your wires nice and away from your airbag. You don't want any wiring getting in the way of your airbag, just in case if it was ever to go off. You don't want any of the coppers running to your face. Now that wire has been run alongside to the GPS. Now along with my GPS antenna, I'm going to go ahead and tape them together all the way to the screen and bundle up any excess that's left behind. Alright, so the next thing that I have to run is this USB cable from my glove box all the way to behind the screen. So I'm just going to use one of these again, the zip tie snake tool. Push it from there in here, and then use the smaller end of my cable to tie it up to the zip tie and just pull it up top. There's plenty of room in there. If you do it the other way around, it might be a little bit harder. Still can be done. What I've done is gone ahead and tape everything up in this nice fabric tape, so it looks nice and tidy. It's not going to make any rattling sound, which is what we want. So let me go ahead and do this, and then I'll see you in the next clip. Now to make the things easier for you to run your USB, you can go ahead and untie these two pins. That's going to allow for you to remove this plastic trim out of here, making it very accessible for you to run your snake. Now once the USB has been run up there, I've gone ahead and made things neat with the taping of the microphone loom, plugging the microphone in, using the same nice fabric tape, and neaten up the rest of the loom that I'm not going to use. Now with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start undoing this quad lock from its fiber optics. Now in order to do that, just pull this tab up and then you can slide this out. You can use something like a pick tool. Alright, so I've run all of my wiring from the center, from the radio all the way up top. Now what I'm gonna do next is go ahead and plug things in, test for audio using AUX. That can run through your CAN data, but just in case if the CAN data AUX is not working, you're gonna have to go ahead and run the audio cable, the aux cable from this audio out into the AUX cable, and then run it, fish it to the center console, and then plug it in here in the AUX port. All right, so just with the testing through the CAN, the AUX was not playing sound, so we're gonna have to run this AUX cable. So it's gonna connect to your audio out, running all the way into your center console there. So now to find a nice spot to run it, I'm gonna run underneath this. So once I'm done with that, I'll see you guys in the next clip. Now if you're doing a DIY, it's a good option for you to just take it out of there, go through this hinge. That can just come out, it's only on clips, don't need to unplug anything. Just go under, behind here, all the way up, and that's gonna feed in, bringing your AUX cable there. And you can just go ahead and plug this in into the audio out from the screen. Make sure you tape the original audio in nicely, because that might interfere and cause some hissing to your sound system, and you don't want that. So let me go ahead and do that. Plug my radio back in, plug the screen back in. The only connections that's hanging out here is gonna go into the screen. Original LVDS also goes into the screen. I'm gonna go ahead, plug all of this back in, and then I'll show you guys the next steps. Bit of a faff, bit of a hassle getting the new screen sit in properly. There's a small cavity in the center, that's where you have to run all of your wiring. Push it in, if it's routed nicely, the screen's gonna sit in flush. It clicks in, go ahead and put the 2 screws up top there. There's gonna be 3 clips in the bottom. That's also gonna sit in nice and neat. Once that is done, go ahead, put your radio back on. Only the connections you see are the connections that's gonna go in. I'm gonna go ahead and tidy this whole area up. Once that is done, then I'll go ahead and put the climate control back on, and then the big panel up here. Then I will go through the settings for the screen. All right, so since this car does not have the factory reverse camera, it still has factory sensors. So what you need to do is just go into the settings for your unit, go into system, and down here you'll see the camera selection. Go into the camera selection there and select the original car camera. Now what that's going to do is as soon as you go into reverse, it's going to show you your factory sensors. Now once you've selected that feature, even when you're in your CarPlay, you go into reverse, it's going to bring up your factory sensors. Go back to park, it's going to bring you back into your CarPlay. Same when you're driving, go into reverse, factory sensors, come back out, back into drive. That's crazy how good this system is. It looks unreal in person. It's also fully compatible with your steering wheel button, so you can see that's changing the songs there. I don't want to get a copyright. I've tested for audio, I've tested for calls, everything working just the way it should. Insane. If you guys want a system like this in your car, reach out to me on info@westernautocustoms.com.au or reach out to me via the form on our website www.westernautocustoms.com.au to see how I can help with your car.